So, good day, everyone, wherever you are on the planet, whatever time zone you are in. Welcome to the Ancestral Healing monthly Zoom call. Thank you for being here. Those of you who are on the live call, I always appreciate you so much when we have a chance to share and listen to each other. And then staying for the unrecorded portion where we'll share more in a circle. And thank you to those of you who are listening to the recording. For anyone listening to the YouTube recording, I just want to remind you to click subscribe to receive notifications for future videos and to take a look at the show page description to find that there's a link for a free ancestral toolbox. And there are 3 online courses that I've created for ancestral lineage healing. These are all self-paced and independent study. So let's begin the way that we always do, where it is about setting a field of energy with a prayer of gratitude and appreciation for all the spirits who are here and around us. And then I invite you to call on your trusted protector guides as part of the practice, and I will guide you in that piece also. It's just, if there's one thing that I want to repeat over and over again is how important ritual safety is, and how when you really look at all the ways that spirits are called in, or we're touching into our creativity, which puts us in another realm, that just beginning with this is just really powerful and important. Okay. So just taking a moment to feel yourself dropping in and connecting with your body a little bit more. You could imagine roots coming out of the bottom of your feet, going into the earth so that you feel this stable connection with earth. Breath can sometimes help you drop in more. And then place your attention above your head, which is where the soul chakra is, which this contains the ancestral realm, the Akashic records, your astrology, human design, those blueprints of you that you carry with you forever in this human body or not in this human body. This is part of your connection of your blueprint of who you are. And I believe that we live multitudes and multiple lives, and this is where this kind of library, this Akashic record, is stored for you, your library of you. And then let's just take a moment to say an appreciation and a gratitude for our wise, well ancestors. Thank you for being in this space with us. Please hold us as we can learn from each other and feel your guidance and safety in this different connection of realm. And at this time when we come today really to celebrate you and to, I mean, I know that's part of our daily life also, but this is a time where it's kind of like if it were your birthday today, and we place a little extra attention on saying how important you are to us, how much we value your expertise, and how much we appreciate your love. So thank you for being with us. Thank you to the spirits of land. Wherever we are located in the world right now, the spirits are all around us. Our kin, our family, includes the trees, all the elements of air, water, earth, fire, ether, The birds. Right before this call, I was looking out the window with a friend of mine who I'm staying at my friend's house, and the birds were so active. It's like, hello. They were doing a dance. We had put food out. They were enjoying their meal and just reminding us how much delight we can bring into each other's lives. And just think about all of nature that is around you and the sun, the moon, the stars. We're all connected, and they are our kin. We are their kin. We are connected through multitudes of lifetimes. And a thank you to the Wi-Fi gods and goddesses for keeping us connected through these devices. May they hold during our call. And may the medicine, the nourishment that is most needed in our lives and in the world be shared here together and amplified and activated. And so take a moment. Actually, I'm going to be quiet for a moment and to silently or in your space, speak it out loud, a gratitude that you have, an appreciation that you have. I'll be quiet here for a moment. And then call on a trusted guide or guides. This could be an angel, could be a deity, goddess, god, goddess, all that is. It could be a land spirit like a mountain or a tree, the ocean, breath, light. So call on your trusted guide or guides. Ask them to be with you as we gather here together. Ask them to clear the energetic space around you. Sometimes I get this image of someone sweeping with a broom or a leaf blower, just clearing away anything that is not helpful to us right now. And then ask them to set up boundaries of protection around you for good ritual safety. And so feel free to stay in that space or to open your eyes again, and I will share some words about a topic around celebration of the dead. So last month, we talked about the fall equinox and harvest festivals around the world. And we also talked about finding harmony and balance in your life by connecting with nature's cycles and rhythms. The fall season continues to highlight harvests, New Year celebrations, nature, and our ancestors, bringing them even more present during this time. So, the topic that I'm focused on today is this celebration of the dead, our ancestors, our loved ones, including pets who have passed. There are many names for this all around the world. And I think that's one of the things that's really interesting is that even when we didn't have the World Wide Web or we didn't have the kind of travel that we have today, we didn't have information that was passed, in all areas of the world, there were celebrations around those who had passed and on honoring our ancestors. And that, and it all seems to be happening at this time of year. Even in the Southern Hemisphere, I was looking and noticing that's so fascinating that this is also the time of year where there's some of the celebrations. So there are many names for this around the world. Things like Day of Remembering, All Saints' Day, Dia de Muertes, which is Day of the Dead, uh, which you'll find in many Latin American countries, and Mexico seems to have really brought it forth in a lot of people's minds, the celebrations that happen in Mexico. Samhain, which is a Celtic festival, and Halloween. There are festivals in, uh, I mean, one of the things I was going to say is if you're not sure of the name of the celebration in your country, you can do an internet search by just putting in Day of the Dead and then list your country. So it's interesting that it may pop up with something from Mexico, but then when you just look down one line, there will be links to Wikipedia pages and blogs that people have written about a Day of the Dead in Poland, a Day of the Dead in Slovenia, a Day of the Dead in South Africa, or different countries in Africa. So it's all over. But at the heart of all the celebrations that I have looked up is this desire to remember the ancestors who came before us and to honor them in simple ways. And I want to say one thing about honoring that I may repeat in different ways right now is that when it's an honor when you are, I know this as being a grandmother. It is an honor when my grandchildren ask me for help with something, learning how to tie their shoes or wanting to make pancakes and they want my help. They can't open something, they have a question. So even when we talk about the honoring of our ancestors, it's also a time where we can say, ancestors, I want you to be part of my life more, and I have a question, or I need some guidance, or could you help me with this? That even in the honoring, we can ask for help. We can ask for guidance right now in the midst of this. So I just want to say that, it might seem like if you were honoring someone who is living, that you might say, oh, well, it's their time to be honored, and I'm not going to ask them for anything. But actually, in the asking, that is a gift to them also. So, as I said, ritual protection is very important. Honoring the unseen world is a place where you have ancestors, land spirits, and there are spirits that you may not even realize who are lost or troubled, who are around you. And that's one of the reasons to have the boundaries so you can decide how to interact, how to have some space for yourself. You enter these realms with a trusted guide or guides. If you're going to a cemetery to honor either your ancestors or those of other people, you call on your trusted guides to be with you. And that's why we began today with appreciation and calling on our trusted guides. Like this is like a normal part of communication. So during these celebrations that are connected with the harvest, preparation for winter, a new year, and honoring your ancestors, here's a list of some of the things we talked about last month also, when we talk about it different times of years, but I'll just remind you and then add in a few other things. One is once again an ancestor altar. And it might be something where you have one set up all year. And this is a time where you recognize for these next couple of days, you're going to clean it up a little bit, maybe put a fresh candle. An ancestor altar can have things that are symbols that are related to someone who has died. And one thing I want to say is that when you put photos on an altar, you can have altars or have locations in your house that have family members of whether they are living or deceased. But when you create an ancestor altar, only place photos of people who have died on the altar. So just think about how the intention is to honor people who have died. So you don't want to put a photo of someone who is living on that altar. And like I said, you can have, very close to it. You can say, well, here's my grouping of family photos with those who are living and deceased. But on the altar, just have those who have died. Another thing I want to just shine a light on is how this is a time connected with fire and fire ceremonies. I know with Samhain, the Celtic celebration, that this is one of four fire ceremonies during the year. But I did notice that that was a common theme with other parts of the world also. So it's a time to release and burn away what is no longer wanted or needed. You can write things you want to release as well as speak words of forgiveness, then burn them in the fire. And I want to just talk for a moment about different ways of doing this with fire. I mean, first of all, you're going to practice fire safety. That's kind of a no-brainer, hopefully, for everyone. If you plan to burn paper or anything else, just create a safe space for the burning of that. You can also light a candle, and that is the fire. And then you can speak words out loud. You can write them down and just rip up the paper and go put it in the trash. You can symbolically use the fire of the candle to burn away anything that you're ready to release. So you don't actually have to burn something. You can tune into the fire and ask that these things be burned. You can even imagine a lit candle or imagine a bonfire. You could close your eyes and just imagine that right in front of you there is a bonfire or there is a fire, and you speak these words out loud. You ask for a release of something. So use your imagination whenever you work with any of the elements on calling on the power of them. So here you can call on the power of fire. One of the favorites I know is to cook a meal or prepare something simple for your ancestors. And really, an offering to your ancestors. It could be that you have an empty chair at the table. You could put a glass of water, tea. You could put bread on a plate. Like it's symbolic. You do not have to prepare the whole meal and place it in front of an ancestor, but that is a tradition also, is that sometimes on the ancestor altar you'll place food, you place fruit, um, or other meals that are eaten, and then you can, when you're complete with it, you can put that out into the earth and let nature take its course with the decomposition of the food. And I know sometimes people decide that they will then eat the food and that has a connection with the ancestors. So tune into what it is for you with that. So this is a time you can interact with your ancestors in different ways. And as I was saying about asking for guidance, you can ask your well ancestors questions or ask for guidance. You can write a question and place it on the altar, on the ancestor altar, or you can write a question in your journal. And you could even just take a moment of closing your eyes, asking your ancestors to answer your question. You might do some free writing, see what emerges. And you can even begin by writing things like, this feels stupid, or I don't hear anything, and I wish my ancestors would speak to me. Like, it's okay to be your full human self here with that. And, just keep writing whatever thoughts you have, even if it's like you've got the grocery list coming to your mind, but just engage with it in some way. And it can feel like nonsense at first, but be open to whatever thoughts or words come through you in the pen, and be open to how the answers could come to you in different ways. They could come to you through a dream. It could be that you are reading a book and there's some dialogue in the book and you realize that sounds like an answer to my prayer. So just be open to that. You can also ask your ancestors for a blessing or for guidance. Like that's a gift of letting them know that you value the relationship with them. You value them as the the wise ones who are here. It's not about trying to take something. It is actually an exchange of paying attention, interacting in some way, remembering. Remembering your ancestors is already a gift to them. So just know it can be this interactive. You can even write a love letter to your ancestors. It might contain a gratitude or something about the blessings and strengths of this line. It could be something that you appreciate. Thank you for the gift of writing that has been passed down the line. Thank you for the gift of cooking or gardening. Thank you for the gift of clarity. It's like you tune into what the blessings are of your ancestors, what you either notice in yourself or what you notice in the ancestors who you know or you have connected with. And you can say thank you. If there's someone, if there is a, let's say parent or grandmother who you learned something from, grandparent who you learned something from, you can say thank you for something they taught you or shared with you. And then a couple of other little things that, this is a time that's connected very much to the underworld. And so you could learn about a deity who's connected to your culture and the underworld. And you may have heard of some of the deities I just made a list of that I've heard of from different cultures: Osiris, Persephone, Pluto, Demeter, Yama. Like they're connected with the underworld or death. And so you could look into who is a deity, who is a goddess, a saint who is connected to your culture and the underworld, and learn about them. That could be a way of also celebrating this time of year. I mentioned a cemetery. You can leave offerings at the cemetery, and it might be ancestors in your lineage, or it could be that you decide that's a way to be of service, not knowing if there's someone else who's bringing flowers or sweets or singing or dancing at someone's gravestone. That could actually help a spirit who doesn't have anyone who's doing that. So you could be of service in that way during this time of year. I think I mentioned last month, and this is still a good time of year to do that, to make a simmer pot that you put on the stove with water and seasonal fruits, herbs, spices to just really feel the abundance of this time of year. One thing I was going to read, oh yes, I thought maybe I forgot them. So one of the things that I like to do also is read a tarot card or do tarot card readings or use oracles or runes. And I got this one recently, Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle by Abiola Abrams has this, and the um, illustrator is Destiny Powell. So before we got on the call today, I asked for a card and a message and a lesson, and the card that I for all of us today, and the one that came up was Mother of Earth, fertile ground. And I thought, how perfect is that? The ancestral medicine of this card. This ancestor loves her home. The Mother of Earth is fully grounded and never bored. How can you make your home a more loving and luxurious environment? And really, a simmer pot is a way of bringing in the luxurious environment. It can be these simple things. But this card, this Earth Mama, represents fertile abundance and wealth, down to earth, generous, dependable, and supportive. She really has your back in matters of home and business. Possibilities are all around you. Feel the love, embody it, be sensible in your approach. And this is the Mother of Earth who is represented in this card is Ajay, a Yoruba goddess of collective community wealth and material manifestation. This energy is about shared prosperity and well-being. So that felt like just the perfect message for this. And so the last few things I'll just say is that reflect on the blessings of this year. So a gratitude and appreciation ritual, just reflecting in meditation and journaling about what you created and manifested this year, thanking your ancestors for all the ways that they have supported you. You can always go on a nature walk and see something for the ancestor, pick that up and bring that back to just ask permission if you see a feather on the ground to pick it up and bring that back to the altar. And I'll end with connect with things that make you happy and joy-filled, and then share that with the ancestors. Recite a poem, sing a song, make some art, create a greeting card, do a painting, dance. Bring in these creative ways of connecting. Um, I know that in one of my lineages, when I was healing my father's line, they asked me to sing at the altar. And so I would look for songs and just bring the joy. I love to sing. And so to bring the joy to them, that uplifts and brings that love. Okay, so I'm going to end the recording in just a minute. And then for those who are here, we're going to have some time to share our experiences with each other or things that we want to put into the circle with our voices. And I wanted to just let you all know that next month I'm going to hold a grief circle on Sunday, November 16th at noon Eastern Time. I will record some words about grief and forgiveness. And I'm going to read a story about a moment of remembering my husband in spirit when I saw a ravioli in a pan on the stove. And I encourage anyone who's coming live to bring some things that you want to share in terms of memories about your loved ones. Sometimes it is the simplest thing that happens that we remember our loved ones in spirit. And I believe it is a way that spirit connects with us, that the ancestors are connecting with us by showing this. So for anyone who's on the live call, we'll have time to celebrate the people and animals in our lives who have died. So thank you for listening. I'm going to stop the recording. And thanks to those of you in YouTube land. Bye.